All right, this will be a brief video as I stayed up longer than I should have, but I was stupid enough to wait for James Gunn's announcement on the DCU slate. I couldn't help myself. Briefly, the brief synopsis of it, I'm not happy with this. This does not sound good to me. Hopefully I'm wrong, but this is not what I would have done. I'll go through the list, but there's a lot of just red flags all over this. Some of which you already knew. He talked about the remaining movies that are coming out, and he did mention The Flash will be a reset thing. So I'm imagining that they've added something into it to make it fit with what comes after. Once Aquaman will be the final DCEU film. And then he went into what he's doing. He started off with television, about a cartoon show that no one knew was coming, but it's called Creature Commandos, which is a 7-episode animated show. Which is, they've done things like this. I'm blanking on the name. It was not Creature Commandos, but basically the Frankenstein monster, the female Frankenstein character. The Frankenstein and Dracula and all those are public domain, so they can make use of these monster characters. I think there's a werewolf there and a mummy and that type of thing, which other people have done. But basically, they'll be recruited to be this team, and apparently Amanda Waller's in charge of that. So I guess she'll be Viola Davis will be staying, and that she will probably provide the voice for that. But they're all connected, so they're sticking with that. So it'll be a very cohesive, shared universe. I did confirm that projects like Matt Reeves' Batman remain separate, and of course Joker, and that's about it. Maybe something else would come along down the road, but I doubt it. So then Waller will be. He did not mention there is supposed to be a Peacemaker season 2 that was already mentioned, but this would be a spinoff of that, where again Viola Davis playing Amanda Waller. And that might actually be pretty good, just that in and of itself. And that would be the deal. So it'd be interesting if some of these Creature Commando characters would have a cameo in their live action form, and that sort of thing. And maybe so. He mentioned it'll be written by Crystal Henry of Watchmen. I'm assuming this was the god-awful Damon Lindelof series. So that's a big red flag on the Waller series, whereas a Waller series should be pretty, but that would, espionage type thing and all that, Amanda Waller. And so far, despite most of the projects that they've cast the Amanda Waller character in haven't been that great, but Viola Davis is a pretty good fit for the role and does it well. Given a good enough story, I think she would do well in that. But big red flag, having anyone involved with that horrible Watchmen series on this, but hopefully it's, I'm wrong about that. Booster Gold, that was rumored. Turns out that's true. They're going to do a Booster Gold series. I doubt that Chris Pratt will be playing the role, but who knows? The one bright spot out of all of this, at least the description of it, lanterns, which I'm guessing this is what's left of that Green Lantern series they were going to do, which they scrapped and changed it into this, where it's this enormous TV event series, follows intergalactic cops Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan as they uncover a dark mystery. And James Gunn insinuated that this dark mystery is part of the unfolding overall story for their 8 to 10 year plan. So that seems to spin out of their plans from long ago of a buddy cop type scenario of a Green Lantern movie with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and it looks like they're going to turn that into a TV series, which, granted, could be very good. This might actually work very well, and that might be the bright spot, the green bright spot of all this. So there's, I guess, that to look forward to. But as far as the other series, I think that's done. That's not happening. It'll be this instead, which that's because what they were talking about, it started to sound worse and worse and more CW stuff with just more money spent on it. It started sounding pretty bad. Although Guy Gardner would be pretty funny to have around, and maybe he will, show up in this. But the buddy cop scenario with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart sounds pretty good. Paradise Lost is the only Wonder Woman project, but it's set in Themyscira, and deals with the island of the Amazons, and I can just imagine all the preachy stuff. I'm extremely dubious of this being worth a damn. I'm sure it'll look good and everything, but out of this, they'll introduce their new Wonder Woman. So on to the movies. So as I thought, the first major film project would be the Superman movie, and they would call it Superman Legacy. Wonder what that could focus on. Well, it's a younger Superman, so he doesn't have a son yet, so I guess it won't be focusing on Jonathan Kent or anything like that. So it'll focus on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. Haven't seen that before. So that's about all you get of that, but I've always thought that it to begin your, well, of course, Creature Commandos is where they begin. I don't know. I don't know, but that'll be an HBO Max series. But it is connected. But that Superman should be a foundational character for your shared universe. So, okay, you'll have to see what he does, but it's going to have to be a pretty damn good Superman movie to make up for all the nastiness with Henry Cavill that they did and stuff like that. But also just all of this just doesn't seem like a respectable assurance of the foundational aspects of DC Comics. In case in point, he said he's going to do the Authority. I would be fine with an Authority series or film, but not as a part of the DCU. The Authority is sort of this much darker version of the Justice League. So to have them coexist like that, where you have your knockoff Superman and Batman on the team, it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. I don't think they belong there. They belong in their own universe. And this is one that they should classify as an Elseworlds film, alongside, the Batman and Joker and that sort of thing. You could just do that. Probably be better as a HBO Max series than a film. But and of course, even as much as I appreciated Authority and what it was trying to do, its time has passed. But it's heavily in the leftist politics and stuff, and that's not going to be welcome. And they think it will, but that's what happens when you live in that bubble. What about Batman? What about the DCU Batman? Well, he will show up in a movie called The Brave and the Bold, which will be about him and Robin. So, wow, a serious take on those two, because we haven't really seen that since the 90s, and that wasn't really all that serious. But this will not be Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. It will not be Bruce Wayne and Jason Todd. It will not be Bruce Wayne and Tim Drake. No, it will be Bruce Wayne and his son, Damian Wayne. So, and this is based on the Batman and Robin series by Grant Morrison. Well, there's a problem with that. That began and was at its best with the opening premise was Batman had died and was replaced by Dick Grayson. He was Batman, and Damian Wayne was his Robin. Batman, turns out, was not really dead. He had been sent into the past by Darkseid and all that. And it was an interesting thing. I actually enjoyed that series, but it couldn't last because it was an interesting take on it, and it was like a role reversal where Dick Grayson is not Bruce Wayne. He's a very nice guy. He's more of a, he's easier going with, and he has better social skills than he's just not a mean Batman. Whereas Damian Wayne was exactly like his father and was, pretty rotten attitude a lot. And it was an interesting relationship there. And actually, when it came to an end, when Bruce Wayne comes back, it's kind of like, for a moment there, it's like Damian Wayne would have been better off being Dick Grayson's sidekick. So I thought they should have given him another name and let him be Nightwing's partner or whatever, because it was just a better interaction between the two, instead of having two guys who are just the same character, just at different points of age. But that's what they're going to do. And of course, it won't be an exact copy of it, so maybe they'll figure that out and it'll work. But it's just odd to just jump like that. So much of the decades of DC Comics just tossed aside almost immediately. I mean, at least Marvel got some of their early stuff in there. They've abandoned all of it now. But then probably the worst of the batch, or maybe the Amazon thing will be the worst. I don't know. But the Supergirl thing, and only because they're basing it on the work of Tom King, which is just dead on arrival as far as I'm concerned. It says, oh, well, Supergirl, she doesn't know where she fits in this world and that sort of thing. And, okay. And then Swamp Thing, which I'm guessing will delve into the Justice League Dark. They've been chasing for quite a while. And since they announced Constantine, he didn't mention it, but if they weave that into it, I'm assuming, unless that's going to become an Elseworlds thing, but that would be interesting. It'll be the Keanu Reeves version of Constantine, but nevertheless, that would expand upon that. So maybe that's a bright spot. I don't know. But for all of this, Superman Legacy does not come out until July 11th, 2025. So this is a long ways away. I'm not excited about any of this, especially since they're picking from things that are just within maybe the past 10 to 15 years of stories here and there, and not even the best of those. So it doesn't sound good. I know James Gunn's a talented guy. Maybe he can spruce these up. Why he would pick that, I don't know. This just doesn't sound very solid to me, and not the best way to start out. I mean, they got Superman going, but I don't know what they're doing here. So it's maybe the Superman film will be good. Green Lantern show sounds like that could be cool. Would have said the Waller thing would be cool, but he went out of his way to mention the Watchmen writer, so I'm like, oh. So yeah, I'm a bit down in the dumps on this. But hopefully, James Gunn and his crew can prove me wrong. It's just got a long ways to go to find out if I am. Oh well. There it is. I'm going to go to bed now. Talk to you later.